Now, at the start of this podcast, we promised you a very bright and lovely former Gadget Show presenter would be our guest this week, and we were not lying.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our little gadgety round table a man who never has and never will have to worry about hair loss.
True, it's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Dallas Campbell.
I have other medical things to worry about.
Don't we all, Dallas?
You know, we could talk about those.
So
Our middle-aged ailments.
You've got middle-aged.
That's not what I expected you to. No, I didn't expect you to open up with that.
Saying,
I mean,
hair loss isn't one of them.
I
but
didn't expect that.
do you want to share anything else with us before we kick in?
Well, we'll carry on, and maybe at the end I could talk about,
Prostate.
Yeah.
I
God,
like that.
honestly.
I'll let you two talk about that.
But look, Dallas, that's not why you're here.
No. You spent
For a
three
prostate
series,
examination.
three series with us.
Yeah.
Over 1 year. Gosh, we did ever such a lot of filming in 1 year there, didn't we?
And not only that, but it was at a time, it was because the Gadget Show went through various phases, didn't it?
It did.
And you were here for the rock and roll phase, and I like to feel that you were a big contributor to that because you've always been a bit of a rocker and a roller.
It had a kind of punk rock vibe. And also,
it did.
It was interesting times as well, because I remember the iPhone had just come out and the world changed suddenly. So I think
It did.
At that particular period, 2008, we underwent this revolution in a way.
Consumer gadgetry
Yeah.
was king, wasn't it,
Yeah.
really, then?
Yeah.
And no, it was a great time. So you were with us for a year, and then we know you went to the BBC.
We got poached by the BBC. So
Stolen away from
our
us.
show was your audition for BBC Science stardom, wasn't
That's
it?
what
did
I
you
said.
use us?
No,
Is
that's
that-
what I said. I'm still waiting for the call to turn up for the Gadget Show. I was just waiting. I just never got a call sheet the next week, so I just sat there with my arms folded for 15 years.
No, but seriously, you went
Yeah.
on to do loads of great science
did.
programmes and
I
adventure.
did.
You've been all over the world with the BBC. So, what,
did.
what was your sort of highlight after leaving us?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I went on. We did a show for BBC One, a science program called Bang Goes the Theory, which we did for a few years. And
It was great. It was a really great show.
It was a really good show. But all the things I did at the BBC were really just looking at how the world works. So we did lots of good science.
So you've done some, because that's your thing, isn't it? Future gazing in science. So when you were on the Gadget Show, if you can remember back for us, just have a think back. What was your favourite thing that you did, or challenge, or
There were, honestly,
moment?
that year, 2008, we did so many much good stuff. Sorry, I can't speak. So many much good stuff.
We know
I
what
think
you
it
mean.
works. I like
That
it.
kind of works. There was the Scalextric speed record.
Oh.
Chatsworth House, which was a highlight.
Do you know what? I
'Cause I'm in
remember
the
that on a
Guinness
straight
Book of
piece of
Records.
track.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I do remember it, and I remember the very tiny incremental changes that you made to your world record
That's right, we
attempt
got-
car.
yeah, we
You know,
got-
what was like things like special magnetism.
Einstein's theory of general relativity, that kind of stuff, special relativity. We factored in everything.
And I remember watching it, but what happened?
We went really fast, and
And
we broke the record.
You got a Guinness World Record.
And we know that
and
because-
I have that here, your
Is that-
certificate.
See,
Have you not got this? So the
No.
fastest slot car was
Let me see.
Scalextric Honda F1 replica, which reached a speed of 1583.4 scale kilometres per hour when it was controlled by Dallas Campbell,
That's
UK, of the Gadget Show at the Chatsworth Rally Show, Chatsworth, UK, 6th of June 2008, ladies
Look
and
at
gentlemen.
that.
And that.
Am I allowed to, can I take that? Am I allowed to, I could photocopy or take a picture of it.
I'd nick off with it.
Although
if I was
I've
you.
got a bit of a confess. Well, I don't know, because when I left, lovely Otis took over, and I think Otis redid it and secretly broke the record.
He
What
did-
they
But it's
did on
not.
the-
It hasn't been officially
No.
recognised.
If
So
you
I'm
Google
claiming
it, it's still you.
Is it?
So that
Good.
means it's when
Google's-
when we speak to Otis, we'll say something different.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Google is the arbiter
That's
of it.
great. Look at that.
Look at that. Let's put that up here
Yeah.
while you're.
That's nice.
Just put that there.
That,
for you,
we
look.
did a lot of. I did a lot of future gazing kind of things. I remember doing robots and exoskeletons in America.
That octopus or jellyfish thing that you
Robot
did as
jellyfish we did. But it was sort of the early days. If we think about robotics now and how robotics and AI are changing everything, it was just before that explosion. Actually, you know the best film I ever did?
What was the best film you ever
It was
did?
with you, and we were in Birmingham city centre, and funnily enough, a chap, I can't remember his name now, sent me a picture of it the other day. It was you and me doing karaoke.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
I had to do some breakdancing. That was fun.
And I seem to remember we had to chuck water over televisions as well, because it was about it was kind of party gadgets generally.
It was to get a party going, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. So we had
were you chucking
karaoke
water
machines.
over?
I can't remember because it was the Gadget Show and that's what we did.
Anyway,
it was
Amazing
good.
memories, though.
It was good.
And a great example of what we used to do on the show, which wasn't just to review stuff. We'd create narratives and experiences, and we'd live with things for weeks. And I loved that about the show.
And all the challenges we did, the wild challenges I remember so fondly. We'd go off to Honister Slate Mine and
I remember you stole some of my
underwear.
clothes.
I still have some of your clothes. Sorry, that sounds really dodgy.
So
but it's true.
don't even explain.
I've got a pair of.
Yep, let's move on.
Okay.
Have you got them on?
No, but I know where they are.
Okay. You've also been doing a podcast on inventions. What a gear change that was.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have.
You've done about 150 million of them.
Well, yeah, and again, it's about inventions and really inventions. We're a broad church on patented. We do the big inventions, the invention of the steam engine and all that kind of stuff. But then we do much more niche things as well. So we like to play around with.
That's been
with
fun,
things.
hasn't it?
It's been really fun. It's fun.
And so in terms of future gazing, have you still got an eye on that? And have
absolutely.
you got anything to share
Well,
with
everything I do has always been a little bit about that, a little bit about what's coming around the corner, and it's particularly space. And I write a lot about human spaceflight and the history of that, and
I mean,
where that's going.
That's gone in such an incredible way since we were last working on the show.
Absolutely.
Can you believe NASA have kind of effectively handed over to SpaceX and is it Blue Origin, the other one?
Blue Origin,
I
exactly.
mean, who'd have thought that? It's incredible.
Well, 2007, 2008, there was kind of nothing happened. It was the end of the shuttle. Things like going into space was absolutely the sole preserve of big government. So America did it, Russia did it, and that was kind of it.
It's so
the Europeans
expensive.
did it. It's really expensive.
Yeah.
But actually what happened was this idea of actually having reusable boosters. So, in the old days, it would be a bit like going to space, it was a bit like flying to New York and then just setting fire to the plane when you landed in New York. It didn't work economically. But now, of course, we've got reusable rockets thanks to SpaceX, and it's just revolutionized everything. And that's really interesting.
Well,
what is going to happen though? Because you hear about people going casually, I'm going to go on holiday up to Mars or wherever.
There's that, but actually the thing that interests me is more, you can go and,
I'm not going.
I don't want to go to Mars.
No, nor me.
Yeah, Mars, there's, no.
There's not a lot going on, is there?
There's not much.
No
No
great,
Wi-Fi.
it's not a great atmosphere, is there?
Thinking of Russ Abbott then.
Yeah, nobody's going to Mars.
No one's going to, well, not in my lifetime. I mean, people bang on about going to Mars.
All right,
but we're a long way off going to
Where are
Mars.
people going though?
Well, at the moment, we're going to low Earth orbit still, because the International Space Station is still there. And then possibly the moon, Artemis, which is the legacy of Apollo, if you like. It's the new going back to the moon, but staying there. But we don't quite have all the architecture there yet. We've got rockets, Elon Musk's Starship, that beautiful, great
silver thing.
That is the thing that will land on the surface of the moon. But it's going to take a while. I mean, we're on flight 3 of that now, and it's still not.
And what
there.
flight will we be on when they actually nail it?
Well, crikey! I mean, this is the thing. These dates just keep slipping. When Donald Trump was president, he was like boots on the moon by 2024, and here we are.
And it felt achievable, right?
Well, I mean, Donald Trump.
But let me tell you something. One of the things I'm interested in is how technology drips down.
Yeah. What is the effect of all of this space?
Well, I was going to just pitch I wanted to just give you an experience that I had it just blew my mind. For some people listening, it might just be really normal. But I went on a cruise ship at Christmas. It was a great cruise with the kids, blah, 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 blah. Met the chief engineer, was fan of the Gadget show, showed us around. And we went upstairs and he showed me the old satellite receiver from which they used to get internet for the boat. And it was this enormous, great big, I think it was like a dome. It was massive, yeah? To the left of it, 6 little squares, tiny, almost like dinner plates, pizza boxes, yeah? And he said, we don't use that anymore. And of course, it was Starlink.
Right.
Starlink's amazing.
And absolutely revolutionary. But again, it's a drip-down technology, isn't it, from the space
Well, this is
race.
the thing. I mean, what I'm interested in is actually how space affects everything on Earth. I mean, we call it Earth observation. Society and civilization would not be able to function as we know it without being able to put things in low Earth orbit. Everything we know about the climate, every time you do any banking, anything like that, uses satellites. And of course, satellites have got a lot smaller. So we're seeing this great new revolution in satellites, which really affect everything that we do. I mean, anything you can think of, we do because we can go into space now.
So it feels like this sort of separate thing where elite astronauts pilots go up to space, but actually it's a very ordinary part of most people's day.
It is. Being able to see the Earth from space, even things like during the pandemic, we knew something was up because we could see the car park in the kind of Wuhan. And we're like, hang on, there's more cars there today. There's something going, things like time stamping when you do your banking is there because of satellite technology. Things like kind of modern slavery, all kinds of things we can actually monitor from space because we can actually look at how land use is being used, which you just can't do on Earth. So it's pretty amazing.
So Starlink.
Yes.
Because when you look up and you see them come over,
it's
quite a thing, isn't it?
See them with the naked eye.
Yeah, you can.
Starlink
Just explain what Starlink is.
It's Elon Musk's company, which basically has, rather than using the internet using pipes and cables like we use on Earth, actually using satellites. So he has various constellations of satellites which are in low Earth orbit, which gives internet to remote parts of the world. So wherever you are in the world now, if you're on a cruise ship or if you're at the North Pole, you've got your little satellite
transceiver,
which is about the size of a pizza box.
It really is.
And it doesn't matter where you are, you can get high speed
proper bandwidth. I mean, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's good enough to play Fortnite.
And of course, there's all kinds of political issues with it, as we saw with Ukraine.
I was going to ask you about that.
And well, again, it's really difficult. It's like, as a tech company, how involved should you get into political situations like that? But there's always that kind of balance between civilian and military.
Which is the same with DJI, isn't it? The drone company, the Chinese drone manufacturer, that are now effectively a weapons manufacturer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a true statement.
No, they absolutely. There's always that crossover. There's always that kind of bleeding in between civilian technology and military technology.
I suppose when it's owned by one person, that's
it.
where you start to change a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All that power to one person.
Exactly.
What do you think of that?
What do I think of Elon Musk? Part of me, you've got to hand it to him. He's revolutionized the world in so many ways, not just access to space, but things like electric cars, so solar panels, the internet. And then you kind of get into Twitter and you kind of think, well, I don't know.
No, come on.
I'm a fan of Elon Musk.
A
lot of people, I understand why he pisses people off. I get it. I understand why people struggle with Musk. But he's the nearest we've got to Tony Stark. He's the nearest we've got to Tony Stark, or a kind of Edison, someone like that. I mean, what he's done is extraordinary. It is absolutely extraordinary, absolutely amazing. I mean, where would we be without people like that? What we need really is we need two more. We need two more Elon Musks from different parts of the world with slightly different
to level it out.
Politics, just to balance everything out.
We'd probably be in about 2008, still the kind of where we were with the Gadget show back in 2008 is where we'd be.
It's extraordinary.
It's extraordinary, and also, crikey, what he's doing with AI. He's with Grok.
Absolutely. He started OpenAI, so he was one of the founders of OpenAI.
Really, those are the two things that are going to change everything. Obviously, AI and synthetic biology are the two areas of technology,
and the combination of both.
And the combination of those, and the thing is, it's not like. They're going to be things. Everything that we do will be influenced by those things.
But Grok, of course, really is Elon Musk's attempt.
I was going to say, just explain what Grok is.
Well, Grok is X's version of a large language model. So people will have heard of ChatGPT, a large language model, and there's a very good one. I think it's just finished. It was called Glasgow GPT, where it just swears at you. It's really good. Honestly, I was so happy when someone introduced me to Glasgow GPT. The thing that everyone's kind of worrying about is, are we going too fast? Do we have legislation in place? Because
the answer is no, we don't.
There's certain things that once it's out the box. And we're not at a point with people are talking about artificial general intelligence. We're not at that point yet, but we may be in 5 or 10 years.
Let me tell you a chilling concept.
Tell me a chilling concept.
Oh no, here we go.
I went to a cybersecurity conference recently, and one of the things that they said is on the dark web there is a thing called Worm GPT, and it's a large language model, natural language model that you go to, and you say, create me a virus to infiltrate, Sony and steal email addresses or whatever it would be. You know, I'm not a hacker, so I clearly
No,
don't
but this
know.
is why we keep on hearing about hacks, isn't it?
But you know, like you can go onto something like ChatGPT and very easily ask it to create code for a website, and it's incredible. Or you can create a game. I've done it. It works.
I use it all the time, and it's great.
Yeah, not just, you know, like, give me some ideas for a new script for the Gadget Show podcast, obviously, but it can also do code. It can do code, it can do Python, it can do HTML, it can do JavaScript, but it can also do whatever it is that they use to create.
There's always a dark side
denial
to
of
everything,
service
isn't there?
attacks and all the rest of it. Say again?
Yeah, there's always a dark side.
That's the thing. It's everything. Everything that's good will be better, and everything that's bad will be worse.
Just talk us through, you know, how AI could enrich our lives and does.
Well, I mean, all the big things that we struggle with now, things like energy, things like climate change. The fact of the matter is, using something like AI means that things like climate models are going to become much more accurate because we'll be able to put more compute into them, if you like. Things like energy, so all the big things like nuclear fusion, which historically has always been 20 years away. The idea of creating a tokamak or a laser fusion so you could have unlimited energy without all the problems of nuclear fission. And we haven't cracked it yet because we just haven't had the compute power to kind of work out how it works. So all those kind of big fundamental things are going to hopefully be solved by or helped along by AI, I think, in a revolutionary way.
What do you think about this? AI has a great democratizing effect.
Yes, that's a really good point.
Go on.
Good point. Well, the fact of the matter is, something like an iPhone. So this came out when in 2007, when we were doing the Gadget Show. This came out, and the fact of the matter is, someone like Elon Musk or Kim Jong-un or Jason Bradbury, we all have the same gadget in our pocket. No one has an iPhone that's better than anyone else's iPhone. This is a kind of democratizing thing. And AI, I think, will be the same. You will have in your pocket, on your phone, or however you use it, a personal assistant, a lawyer, a creative help,
muse,
a muse, all these things, an accountant, all these things and we'll all have the same thing. So it will be democratizing, I think. I think having that power will liberate us in lots of ways, as well as obviously deep fake porn.
No, I suppose the flip side of having an accountant, a lawyer, whatever it is in your pocket, in your phone, in the same way that we were, talking about apps years ago, you'll have a map, you'll have in essence is then people will say, well, what about jobs? How many people's jobs are going to go?
Well, every time there's been a revolution in technology, that conversation happened. When the printing press came along, and there was a scientist, actually, what was his name? Konrad Gessner. His name was. He was a Swiss scientist, and he was banging on. He was moaning on about the sort of always on technology, all this sort of information that's going to come. It's going to destroy people's jobs, and And of course, he was writing in the 1600s, talking about the printing of books.
We manufacture scarcity, don't we? We've talked about it before on this podcast, in the context of streaming and how you could have all the episodes ready to go, but they hold them back, right? And in the same way, I think that the imperfect nature of humans will become more valuable, not less. And I'll give you a great case in point. In the 70s and 80s, they evolved the automated coffee machine. You get a decent cup of coffee, ground beans, ready to go, beautiful, right? Except it wasn't that good. There was no interpersonal relationship with the barista. There was no smell in the same way. There was no sense of place. And now, every morning, so many people in the UK and the US and Australia,
make their own.
We wait 15 minutes for generally a man with a tattoo and a beard, or
a hipster,
to make it. And it's all part of it's all part of the experience.
The drip coffee, vinyl. There you go.
There you go. That's a great example, Suze. Exactly. You're a vinyl fan.
I'm a
aren't you?
vinyl girl. I'm a drip coffee kind of girl.
Yeah,
I like all of that.
If you're a legal researcher, get out now. Okay, run, because the AI is coming for you, and it'll go back 100 years into the legal archives, and it will find all the facts that are going to win the case for your client, right? So get out now.
Well, I just wanted to say, all this amazing stuff we've been talking about the future, what I find really amazing is how quickly human beings get used to things. I'd heard of ChatGPT last year, and within 12 months, it's so normal, the fact that I'm using it for all kinds of things. I find that extraordinary.
Dallas, it's been an absolute joy. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been my absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see you.
Hey.
Thank you, Dallas.
Thank you.
Good luck with the future gazing and the podcasts and the book writing and everything that you're doing. Come back anytime.
I will. Tomorrow?
Not here tomorrow.
She's not filming tomorrow.